I did it. I finally did it. I found a gamer-friendly TV in Australia for under $750 that supports 4K 144Hz, VRR, and HDR. But the question remains, can it compete with the big boys? Is it worth the money, and is it any good? Well, I'm here today to tell you we're gonna find out. Let's do it.
This is the Telefunken TL55QGG, and I just picked up this beast from Big W for 699 Australian dollars. I previously featured this TV in our Battle of the Australian Budget Beasts video with Marcus from Gaming Tech, so if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you go check that out. I will leave a link in the video description. If you haven't already, go subscribe to Marcus's channel, Gaming Tech. The amazing part of this TV is its price point. Telefunken are offering a 4K HDR display capable of 144Hz for console or PC gaming. The operating system is Google TV, which features voice assistant and Chromecast streaming, 4 HDMI inputs. This is the type of TV you can experience 120 FPS on, and whenever you're ready to upgrade to an OLED, it's cheap enough to delegate this TV to a spare room without feeling like you're wasting your money. That said, let's check this TV out. For those of you who have used any modern TV with Google TV OS, you'll be very familiar with this operating system. And that's a good thing. The TV operating system has a great app store with pretty much every application you could imagine. My only main concern is that the system updates are basically not there. Generally speaking, when Google TV is forked, they don't support updates if the operating system has been customized. When I went to update this TV, I noticed the security patch level had not been updated since the 1st of February 2024. Now for me personally, that's a concern. If that doesn't bother you, then that's fine. My only suggestion would be just be mindful about what devices you leave connected on your network that don't have security updates or patches, because it could be a vulnerability for you to get hacked in the future. Otherwise, Google TV is pretty much straightforward and it works as expected.
Just a quick review of the build quality. The Telefunken has a relatively thick bottom bezel, which is a plastic finish, and the rest of the TV has a relatively modest, minimalistic plastic bezel. Again, nothing too impressive for the price point, but not bad. So I had a few issues with the I/O connecting the Xbox, and I thought I'd double back and triple check the I/O on the back. So what happened was, I originally had the Xbox plugged into HDMI 1. I was able to achieve 4K 120, but HDR wouldn't work. So what I ended up having to do was come across to HDMI 2, and that would enable 4K 120 HDR. So I'm not exactly sure which ports, if all four are HDMI 2.1. This is a 2.1 port because it does 4K 120, but HDR is a no-no. So I didn't get the chance to test 3 and 4, but it's very interesting. So I guess these are the type of things that come with the budget TV territory. The cool thing about this TV is it's very unassuming. Like, I'm playing Halo now, and look, I wouldn't recommend using the HDR mode on this TV. However, just as I'm playing, I feel really good. It's definitely really smooth gameplay. Like, the 120 FPS mode seems really solid in here. Obviously, it's an LCD TV, so you are going to get a bit of LCD smearing. That's just an inherent property of the LCD technology. But just playing this TV, I'm just really impressed with the 120 FPS mode. Say for example, you've just picked up a PS5 Pro and you don't have a 120 Hertz display, and maybe it's a bit of a budget issue. This is actually a really good gateway TV to just get a taste of 4K 120, because let's face it, to be able to get a solid 4K HDR 120 FPS kind of experience, you're buying an OLED, and for a 55-inch OLED, you're looking at 3, 4, 5 times the price of this TV. So I actually don't think it's a bad entry point. So the more I'm playing this TV, the more I'm realizing it's actually a really solid budget performer for its price. If I quickly press the info button on the TV, it actually does show up 2160p, 120 FPS, and it actually says FreeSync, something that it doesn't say on the box. So it's using FreeSync rather than just 4 VRR, which is really cool. The TV does support HDR10. The Xbox reports it does support Dolby Vision for gaming, but I wasn't able to get that to work. I also had another issue on HDMI port 1. I wasn't able to get HDR working. It just wouldn't display HDR, even though the Xbox was saying it was working. So I had to switch to HDMI input 2, and then I could get HDR10 to work. That being said, if you are buying this TV, I would highly recommend just turning off HDR and enjoying the 4K 120 FPS experience here, because honestly, this is a fantastic TV for $699 at the price at the time of recording this video. Would I recommend it? So, as I said, if you are in a situation where you are constrained by budget, or you're just looking for a secondary TV for another room, I actually think this is a really good winner. Man, just as I'm playing this, the frame rate just feels so good. Like just to aim, it just feels so easy because there's just so much more information on the screen. It's just amazing how much 120 FPS makes a difference. I think people who have not experienced it don't truly understand the amount of just information you are getting, the double the amount of pictures. So as you look around, it's just so much easier to stay focused on a target. I really do like how this TV performs. Yes, the colors and the brightness is not the best, but for a budget 120 FPS display under $700, and you could hook your PC up to this. So you could hook up a graphics card that's gonna get 144 Hertz. That's actually pretty crazy when you think about it. Another thing I've noticed is there are little to no picture mode settings. So I'm playing Halo at the moment. I'm going into advanced settings. I can adjust the color temperature, dynamic contrast, but there are no other picture modes. You can't adjust anything else aside from the screen brightness. So just keep that in mind. The TV is quite limited, so it's basic, but as I said, for the price, what you are getting is actually really decent. And I'm saying that coming from a G4 OLED at the moment. That's my daily. And as I said, the inherent properties of an LCD TV are smearing, just due to the pixel response time. You are going to get that slight blurry effect, but aside from that, actually quite impressed. So I've spent the day with the Telefunken TV. I've probably put about 5 hours into this TV. Now I have some thoughts I'd like to conclude this video with. So first of all, HDR performance, no go. Look, it will display an okay HDR performance, but if you have an OLED TV or have had one in the past, this is just a no-go. To be honest, we put it against a mid-range TCL TV over the weekend, and this didn't perform really well. Surprisingly, the 3 people that were here with me, we all thought that this TV actually looked smoother in 4K 120 than the TCL did, which was really interesting. And I thought I'd just echo that at the end of the video. This actually has a really good smooth frame rate. Look, with the inherent properties of LCD TV and slow pixel response time, you are going to get smearing. It's just a fact of LCD TVs. However, for the price range, $699, it's actually a really good bang for buck. So if you're someone that's on a bit of a budget and you might be looking to use something for a cheap gaming PC, 144 Hertz, or let's just say you've got an Xbox or you've picked up the new PS5 Pro, it's actually a really good budget option if you just want to get a taste of 4K 120. I have so many of my friends who have never experienced 4K 120, and I just think it is an absolute must. In regards to SDR content, it's actually pretty decent. Look, don't expect anything crazy. If you're going to buy this TV for a spare room, for your parents or some friends, or you just want an extra gaming display, it's actually pretty good. You'll get decent SDR content, so if you're using your streaming services, things like that, it's going to be absolutely fine. As I said earlier, it's actually amazing that they've been able to squeeze a 144 Hertz panel into this price range and size. I actually think it's a pretty good value proposition. So wrapping up the video, look, it's one of those things. If you've had a really good TV or you do have a really high-end TV, it's tricky. But if you've never had 4K 120 and you do have a modern console and you're looking to stay under that $750 range, man, just do it. It's one of those TVs that you can pick up, spend 6 months on it, a year on it, and when you feel like you're ready to go up to a TV that can do 4K 120, 4K 144 Hertz with HDR, that's when you save your pennies for your OLED. But this is a really good gateway TV. This will help you really understand what you're missing out with modern console gaming. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you do, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.